And welcome to part 4 of how to hire the right coach for you. Because you know what? There's so many people calling themselves coach these days. I know. Why would that be? Well, it's not a protected term as far as I know. I mean, I've been a voice acting coach for the past 25 years and nobody ever asked me about my papers, my certificate, because there's no Academy of Voice Acting Sciences and Arts handing out coaching certificates. They may call them like the Society of Voice Acting Arts and whatever, but it doesn't mean anything. It's just a made up term that they give themselves to pat themselves on the back and make them look official. So if somebody hands you any certificate, it's worth nothing, especially in the voice acting realm. So one thing that I want to say right off the bat is that you should never hire a coach just by word of mouth, just because somebody said something nice about that person, or somebody even has coached with that person and said, you know what, she was the best ever, so I think you're going to benefit greatly from working with her. Well, even if your most trusted friend tells you that you should work with that person, have a conversation first. Why? Well, have you ever been recommended a movie that someone said, well, it's the greatest movie of the year. It doesn't get any better. I'm sure you will love it. Go and watch this movie. You'll never regret it. It's the best money you ever spent in a movie theater. And you go and watch that movie and say, oh my goodness, this is so bad. How did they fall for that crap? Because different people like different things, you know. You have different needs, you have different preferences and priorities. So why would it mean that if your best friend loved that coach, that you would immediately love that coach too? It doesn't work that way. What you need to do is talk to the person you're hoping to hire. Get the information you need and don't be rushed or feel rushed. You need to take your time to get all your questions answered. And when they are answered, don't only listen for the facts. Listen to the intonation someone uses. Look at their body language and trust your intuition. That's the main advice that I can give you. Trust your gut because it's a lot wiser than you are. Because let's face it, if you hire this person, you're going to be stuck with that person for at least a number of sessions. And you're going to be asked to be vulnerable in front of that person and make mistakes because that's what coaching is about. If you know everything already, you don't need coaching. If you don't make any mistakes, you don't need any coaching. But you're going to be vulnerable and expose all your weaknesses so that that person can help you transform your weaknesses into strengths. You need to build a relationship, and in order to do that, you need to feel that you can trust that person 100% and be your vulnerable self. And no matter what nice spiel they're giving you, what wonderful information, and a lot of coaches are very good at telling you what you want to hear, not what you need to hear. Trust your gut feeling. I, for instance, from my perspective as a coach, do the same thing because you think you're interviewing the coach, but at the same time the coach is interviewing you because I only want to work with people, I think that's totally fair, who are a good fit for my skill set and my experience because I have no experience doing big budget video games. I recorded a couple of video games as a voice actor, but I won't claim any experience in that field. Not at all. So if that's what you need coaching for, then find a video game actor who is good at what he or she does and get some coaching from him or her. So I want to make sure that I know what you need so that I can tell you that I'm probably a good person to help you. You know, if you need violin lessons, you don't go to a person who teaches trumpet, right? Does it make sense? Okay, so don't go by someone else's recommendation. Don't hire somebody blindly. Have a conversation and make sure they take the time. And also, trust your gut feeling. Now, I don't care whether or not the person who is interested in hiring me has a so-called good voice, a voice for radio or a voice for movie trailers or whatever. No. Being a voice actor, a successful voice actor these days has nothing to do with the so-called radio voice or the announcer voice. People hate announcer voice because it's a cliche and nobody wants to hire a cliche. They want to hire you. They want to hire people who sound like normal people you pick off the streets, but people who can analyze a script, who can read a script, who can lift the right words up and convey a message with conviction. And that's something that most people need to learn. That's why they need coaching. So it's not about the voice. It's about how you use it, okay? Now, I try to weed out the people that I don't want to work with, and I ask some pretty provocative questions during my interview, and I give some suggestions that are quite challenging to the person to see how receptive they are to my advice, because if they are giving me a hard time from the get-go, I know that I'm in for a lot of trouble. If they try to fight me on whatever type of advice I give them or analysis of how they're doing, because let's say we read a test script together just to get a sense of how we can work together and if we can work together, and if they're challenging all my directions and all my pointers and think that they know best, well, if you think that you yourself know best, why are you calling me for coaching? If people put up a wall and give me some kind of resistance or move back in their chairs as soon as they hear from me, trying to help them, I know that they're not the person. Or if they're very blaming, if they like to blame other people for their lack of success. I know they're going to blame me at the end of our coaching sessions if they don't get that magnificent job that pays them $10,000 for 2 minutes of work. They're going to blame, I coached with a Dutch guy, Paul, and he was so horrible, I didn't even book more jobs. It's a total waste of time and money. No. You need to be able to and willing to put in the time, the energy, and effort. And yes, also money, okay? But let's talk about the time and energy. Lots of people are interested in getting coaching, but they're not committed, which is a big difference. Committed means that you're willing to do whatever it takes to get your result, right? But some people are interested, just want to explore the possibility of eventually, maybe at some point in time, who knows, become a voice actor or whatever they want to get coaching for. You don't want to work with people who are merely interested. You only want to work with people who are totally committed, because those are the people who are going to deliver results. And if they have results, they look good, but they also make you look good. And I want to look good as a coach too. Can you blame me? I mean, I remember that time when I was trying to pick up Portuguese as a language. I had a holiday girlfriend at one time in my life who was from Portugal, and I thought I'd surprise her by learning some Portuguese, even though I knew I had lots on my plate already and I didn't really have time to study the language. So at the end of studying it for a year, I could barely speak a few words of Portuguese. And rather than blame my teacher for being such a bad, terrible teacher, I looked at myself and said, I didn't put in the time and the effort because I was not committed. I was just interested. I wanted to spend no time and energy. And I wanted to put this book of learning Portuguese under a pillow and take it all in during my sleep, in my dreams. Well, it doesn't work like that. Well, okay, so you need someone to commit. So in order for people to commit, I asked them to sign up for at least 5 sessions. Yes, you've heard me right. I don't want the one time off. Oh, I'll test you, Paul, and see how far you can control me and make me a better public speaker, a better voice actor in just 50 minutes, 50 minutes of your time. That's impossible. You can barely get to know somebody in 50 minutes. If people think that I can do my magic in just one session, they're delusional. Nobody can do that. You need at least, in my experience, 5 sessions to get some progress, to bring some change into someone's life, to change old patterns. You need to give someone an opportunity to do well, to put into practice what you've taught them, to do the exercises that you've asked them to do daily. So I want people to commit to at least 5 sessions, and after those 5 sessions, we will reevaluate and sign up for another 5 and another 5, but I'm not the type of coach that signs them up for a whole package of like 30 sessions for the next year. I think that's unethical, because that's making people dependent on you. And I want to make my students independent. I also want to make them sign a 3-page coaching agreement that tells them that I am not responsible for their change. I cannot guarantee results. What? You're coaching somebody and you can't guarantee results? What stupid coach are you? Are you even a real coach? Well, if I would have the ability to control people 100%, I can be 100% responsible for the outcome of my actions. But I don't control my students. I can lead them to the water, but I never force them to drink, especially when they're not thirsty. So if you think that your progress depends on your coach, you are mistaken. You're again in that blame mentality. Oh, it's not my fault. It's my coach. He failed. No. I want my students to be responsible for their own change and for their own progress. That's empowerment. If I am the one that supposedly makes them change and turn them into some kind of success, I get all the credit. In my coaching classes, my students gets all the credit. And they don't need to say nice things about me on social media. I don't care for that. Because they might feel obliged or, oh, let's do Paul a favor. No, if they feel like saying something nice about me as a coach, they can. But I never ask people to do that like some coaches do. Oh, can I get please a testimonial? Say something nice about me on Instagram or Facebook and more people will hire me. Also, I don't make a living as a coach. I never have and I never will because I can make much more money as a voice actor than as a coach. So every coach who just coaches all day long, first of all, cannot be current with what's going on in the field that they're coaching in. And secondly, they're doing it for the money. And I do it because I want to give back. I want to help people. I want to inspire people. I want people to do better than I ever did. I want them to make more money, book bigger jobs, and be even happier at their job than I ever was. That is my total mission as a coach, or at least it was, because I no longer coach for different reasons. I made a 15-part series about that if you want to look that up. No, I want people to thrive and have a great life and enjoy what they're doing, and so that they can do it without hand-holding from me. That's the whole thing. I want to have maintain a good relationship with my students, maintain a relationship that is not as a friend, but someone who is on friendly terms with them. That's also a big mistake. If the coach wants you to be your biggest friend, the coach, like a parent, you can't be a friend to your child. You need to put your foot down. You need some leverage every now and then. Then you need to be able to inspire somebody to do things. And sometimes you have to ask them to do things that go beyond their comfort zone. And people need to be comfortable with that. And if I'm like the friend, they're confident, they're not likely to do that for me because there's no pressure. And I sometimes need to put on a little bit of pressure in order to get people to get beyond that comfort zone. It's all part of coaching. It's all part of coaching. Some people who are really good at what they do are not very good at teaching. So you also need to look for that. Not only is a person good at what he or she does, is he or she at the top of his or her game, but also, can this person break it down in bite-sized pieces? Can this person listen to you specifically and not give you some one-size-fits-all training program? It's something that's catered to your needs and wishes and your weaknesses and your flaws and everything else. But also someone who reinforces what you're already good at, who stimulates you, who is your cheerleader. You need somebody who can teach you the things that need to be taught that you cannot find in books or on YouTube, or on TikTok, or on any other social media platform, because there's so much already out there, and a lot of people are just regurgitating stuff that they can read in books that you don't need coaching for at $175 a pop. I charge $175 for 50 minutes of my time, but people who've coached with me know that I always go over because I just can't stop myself. I don't have one coaching student after the other. Nope, I just take one morning for one person and I book a 50-minute session and it ends up being 90 minutes often. Because I love it and I miss it. And I wish I would still coach, but I don't believe in the voice acting industry anymore. I don't see any future in voice acting. So I think it would be very disingenuous for me to teach people how to become a voice actor if I think it's a dead-end street. So there's that. I know it was a rant. I know I tend to go on and say, you know what, you have to seek out a coach who truly listens to you. And all I'm doing is talking right now. And I have this tendency, for which I apologize. But yet I want to pack in so much information and so much of my experience. And there's tons of other things that I could tell you, but which I'm not going to do because I know that the social media doesn't like very long content, because heaven forbid we go any deeper. We got to stick to the surface and do 1-minute bite-sized pieces and a headline here and there and something that's instantaneously quotable, whatever. Well, I don't care. I do my thing. And if you like it, you watch me. If you don't like it, watch someone else. Okay. Anyway, these are just some of the pointers for you to think about. Things that I take into account as a coach when I do my first conversation with a potential student, and things that you should keep in mind when you're hiring your coach. If this was helpful in any way, shape, or form, let me know. If you think it was a piece of crap, let me know as well. If you have any questions, you can find me in the comments and I'll find the time to get back to you, okay? Best of luck. Have a great day. Bye.